Hi, this is Aurora, folks, and tonight the Nocturnals at the New York City premiere of For Life. Let's stay tuned and see what the cast has to say here in Lincoln Center. Hi, we're here with Joy Bryan. How's it feeling tonight?
Hot. But great. I'm really excited that the show is coming out. It's crazy.
So this is actually not your first time starring alongside 50 Cent. Back in 2005, you were in Get Rich or Die Trying.
Right.
But what was it like working with him as an executive producer this time?
Well, I didn't get to work with him as an actor because we never had any scenes together. But I did. I mean, again, yes, being in his first film as an actor, and to see how he's just freaking been killing it as an actor, and then as a producer, and creating amazing culture-moving content. For him to just to be a part of this series and this story that is inspired by such an incredible man, an incredible journey that he experienced. I just feel very, very lucky and fortunate, and such a great group of actors.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
We're here with Tyler Harris. How are you feeling tonight?
I feel amazing tonight.
Thank you. You look great. So I just want to say congratulations. This is your first major recurring role in a TV series. Yes.
So excited.
I'm excited for you. But tell me, how does it feel to be here tonight at the premiere celebrating that?
It feels amazing to be here at the premiere, especially with the story I'm backing. I just feel so great that this is my first time. To be able to represent something so big is it means the world to me.
And you were playing the role of Jasmine. Can you tell me how you got into prepping for that role, and if you had any contact with Wright's family?
I didn't get to have contact with Mr. Wright's family until after we filmed everything. But in order to prep for the role, I did research on pregnancies, I did research on Mr. Isaac's life itself, and also I'm a poli-sci student currently. That's my major. So it fell right into my lap, into what I was already doing with my studies.
So do you feel like you were able to really throw yourself into this role with all the background that you had in it?
Yeah, Jasmine is definitely a resilient character. She's definitely a determined young lady. So it's really easy for me to just get into that mold, She doesn't let obstacles stop her, and that was my whole driving force with this.
Very, very cool. And what is something that you would like people just hearing about Isaac Wright Jr.'s story for the first time to take away from the series?
He's a giant slayer, His whole life is basically just about being determined. So the whole series is the same exact thing. It's about Aaron being determined and not being able to let any obstacle get in your way.
As someone with such a strong background in politics and social reform, what were you able to actually implement these kinds of skills into the series while being a part of it?
Well, I think that I have a personal experience. I served nearly 14 years in federal prison, and being a national organizer for Cut 50, co-founded by CNN political commentator and now Reform CEO Van Jones, and also Jessica Jackson, that's our mission. It's part of our lifeblood. We think that there's no better platform to be able to literally bring the issue of criminal justice reform right in people's living room other than ABC in this For Life series. And so anything that's going to be happening to raise America's consciousness around that, we're all for it.
I completely agree. And as I was watching a little bit of the series, I was able to see it was very incredible, the story itself, but heartbreaking to see how the effects of being incarcerated wrongly affected the main character and his family. How does Cut 50 actually help into contributing towards that and aiding in those families?
Well, over the last 2 years, we've been able to successfully pass 13 bills. We have literally impacted 230,000 people in the criminal justice system out of a national population that's 2.2 million. So we've actually cut into about 10% of the total United States prison population. So we pass laws. We passed the biggest criminal justice reform law in decades on the federal level called the First Step Act. That was a bill that President Trump signed into law. And so we're just going to continue to do our part, lifting up the voices of people who have been impacted by the criminal justice system.
I love that, and that's absolutely amazing. What is the message that you really want viewers watching to take away from this, who are finding out about Wright's story for the first time?
I don't think that anyone is beyond redemption. That is the message that the entire United States of America and viewing audience need to take in. No one is beyond redemption.
How does it feel to be here tonight for the premiere?
Well, I'm excited about it because this is an issue that affects people every single day. People are going to prison unjustly because they don't have enough money, they don't have the right lawyer, their skin's the wrong color, they're from the wrong neighborhood, and needs to stop. But when you put it into culture, when you put it onto network television, it elevates it in a way that nothing else elevates it.
Now, it's going to go right into my question. As someone with as a co-founder of so many social justice projects and also CEO of Reform Alliance, why was it especially important for you to be a part of this series?
Well, because, by working with the Reform Alliance every day, trying to get people off probation, off parole, trying to change laws, you realize people don't know what's going on. You're talking to lawmakers, elected officials, media personalities. They assume everybody in prison is guilty and deserves to be there for 1,000 years, when that is just not the case.
Right.
And so this is going to give a huge lift to the issue and to our movement.
And speaking also as a journalist and someone with a platform of a political commentator, how were you able to implement these kinds of skills into the series?
Look, I was just happy to help. I didn't, you have a lot of people who, when you have a gumbo this rich, you got a lot of people throwing in the ingredients. I was happy to throw in my little part.
Hi, here with the man behind it all, Isaac Wright Jr. How are you feeling being here tonight?
I'm very excited. I'm elated. I mean, this was a long time coming. It's taken decades from where I started to where I'm actually at right now. It's taken a very, very long time, but I'm here, and I have an opportunity to share, my experience and my story with the general public and actually people around the world. So I'm very excited.
I'm excited. I was reading about your story and it just was like, it blew my mind. It was so remarkable to me and just so rare to even hear about that. Even just the story itself about how you were able to get this into production with 50 Cent. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, there was a guy in the Bronx. He had an illegal fight club called the BX Fight Club. And he had these, it was very successful. 200 people would come out. He had rappers come out in a mission, and he was asking 50 to perform. But 50 wouldn't do it because it was illegal.
Right.
And he had a promoter's license, and he didn't want to lose it. So, the guy tried to get legal. He couldn't do it. 50 shot lawyers his way, and those lawyers basically said, listen, it's impossible. It can't be done. You're an illegal fight club. You can't do it. So another friend introduced me to this guy and said, listen, this is the guy where everyone else failed you can help you. He told me his story. He told me the problems that he was having. He explained to me that he wanted to get legal. And in 2 weeks, I got him legal. And 50 came out to perform, asked him, how did this happen? And he told 50 my story, and 50 and I met, and the rest is history.
Just chopped it up and now we're here.
Chopped it up, and now we're here, yeah.
It's amazing. What does it feel? I actually read a quote by you saying that when you saw your life being performed, it was very therapeutic for you, and you saw yourself as a third person. What was that experience like, just working with the cast and putting your input into the series?
It was a great experience. I mean, it gave me the level of comfort that I was working with people, not only that I could trust, but they went out of their way to show me that they were trustworthy. And if you look at the finished product, I'm not sure if you've had the benefit of seeing the pilot, but it's incredible. They did an amazing job, and I feel really, really good about it because, they did right by me, and I appreciate it.
That is so good to hear. And what is something that you want everyone hearing about your story, maybe even for the first time, to take away from it?
This is a story of both inspiration and hope, but one of the main things that I think I'd like the public to take away from it, it's a story of challenge. We all face our challenges in life, and sometimes we get in situations where, we don't know where to turn. We don't know where the answers are. But this is a story that says to you, listen, when all else fails, look in the mirror. The answers may be within yourself. If you reach down deep enough, you may find the answers. And so this is what this is about. Sometimes you got to take your problems in your own hands. You got to grit your teeth and strap up your boots and try to make it happen, because a lot of times it's really about you, and it's only you. And if that's your reality, it's about looking within yourself, because the answer 9 times out of 10 is there.
Wright's story is just absolutely incredible to me. It's really remarkable. What was it like being a part of the series?
Well, when the idea for the series was first brought to me, I thought I wanted to write something and create something that would have social significance, that could get people talking and thinking about an important issue. And his story was such an amazing way in, because he's such an incredible underdog character. He fought against all the odds. You can completely root for him and get behind him. And it's entertaining to do that. It's compelling to do that. You're moved by it emotionally. And then through that, we can expose people to what are the issues going on around it. But it's not a documentary, it's not a soapbox. It's an exciting, compelling show with a great hero, lots of great supporting characters, antagonists, and other people who are trying to help him. And it's creating that complex tapestry that exciting to me, and I think will make it accessible to a wide audience.
No, I agree. That story is really quite compelling and definitely nothing like I've ever heard of before. But in the sea of all these legal dramas that are currently on television, how do you feel like it truly stands apart and makes its own place?
Well, I actually don't think of it as a legal drama. I think of it as a family drama. I think of it as a prison drama in a lot of ways. And this is a story of this person, this character. So it's really it's a highly serialized show. It is not Case of the Week. There's a very strong case in the first episode, but then after that, you're following his life in the prison, you're following what he does with his family. He has a case here, a case there. He's fighting his own case. Some episode is just about, can he get a little piece of evidence to advance his own case while he's struggling with, having issues in the prison. And plus he has this really fascinating relationship with the warden. Who's a female warden who's progressive. She's not against him, which I thought that would be so different from Shawshank Redemption and other movies and shows that have dealt with this, where it's always the warden who's out to get the guy. This is a different aspect, and it makes the whole thing richer and more complex. So for me, that it's not it. It has a law element in it, but it's not a legal drama.
I see. And it also deals a lot with families who are affected by those who have family members who are incarcerated. How do you feel this type of series will help shift that narrative that people have?
Well, that's such an important aspect of it, because Aaron's journey is trying to get back to his family, and that's what people don't realize. For every person that's incarcerated in this country, there's 10, 20 other people on the outside, close people to that that are deeply affected, and just like when our soldiers go to war, if they get killed or wounded, what happens to those families? So this is something. There's millions of people in prison in this country. Then you multiply that by 5 or 10 in terms of the number of people that are actually really, really deeply affected by it, and it's a big thing.